Hi friends and welcome back. Today we are doing a pumpkin chocolate pancake. I had a half a can of pumpkin pie puree left over from a pumpkin bar I had made the previous week and it needed to get used up. And if you follow me, you know that I don't like to waste. So here's how we're working that out today. We need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. We also need 2 tablespoons of dark brown sugar. You can use light brown sugar, but I feel like light brown sugar doesn't have enough oomph to help compensate for the pumpkin pie spice that we are going to put in here. Of course, that is my personal taste. If you are a pumpkin pie spice girl and you're like, give it to me, do what you want, girlfriend. This is baking the way you want. Seasoned to taste is how you want it, not how I want it. You need a tablespoon of baking powder because otherwise your pancakes will not rise, and we need some fluff. And then we are also going to do 1/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. If you have cane sugar at home, you can also use this. That's perfectly fine, not a problem. And then we're going to get on to the actual flavorings. We do 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. Now, my husband informed me he thought there was a little too much pumpkin pie spice in here for him. So next time I think maybe I will do 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice and add 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg because there is no nutmeg on its own in this recipe. You do need 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. If I can get it out of this little container here. I found I had like 3 or 4 little containers of like open cinnamon, which is hilarious, and I was trying to add them all in together. You also need 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which I was struggling for some reason to be able to get in here. And then we are just going to mix our dry ingredients till everything is well incorporated. That way we don't have some little pancakes that fluff better than others. In a separate bowl, we're going to do our wet ingredients. 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil, 2 cups of milk of your choice. If you are going to use an almond or oat milk, please make sure that it is not sweetened. If it is sweet, if it has like a vanilla flavor to it, these are going to be a very sweet pancake. Now here is where I'm kind of funky. I wish that I would have mixed this a little bit with the eggs before I put the pumpkin puree in. If you've ever baked with pumpkin puree outside of a pumpkin pie, one of the things they always talk about is that you need to fold the puree into everything because it is very thick and it's also pretty watery. If you break it up too much or macerate it too much, it will cause things not to rise. And so when I was mixing it in with my liquids, I was trying hard not to mix too hard. And because of that, I missed one of the eggs. So when I go to fold it into my dry ingredients right here, you're going to see me mushing a little bit to make sure I get that egg done. So I think next time if I make these pumpkin pancakes again, that I will do that. The other thing is that you cannot, and I cannot stress this really hard, cannot take a mixer to this. If you do, this will not rise because again, the pumpkin puree is thick and it is heavy and it has its own liquid with it. If you break it up too much, it's going to make too much liquid in here. And that's just not going to be great. So maybe 15 folds. So if you're watching, I'm not folding very fast. I'm folding slow. So I'm scraping the bottom and the edges of the bowl really well because I want to make sure that I'm folding the pumpkin in, but I also want to make sure that I'm getting all of the dry ingredients mixed well without breaking it up. Some things that I think I wish I would have done different, or maybe for next time, I think cream cheese bits would have been awesome in here. Like a little bit of whipped cream and a little bit of whipped cream cheese. I don't know, maybe 1/4 of a cup of it. I think that could have made it tasty because then it could have been more like a pumpkin cheesecake. But that's for another recipe. We'll have to try that out. To a nice hot pan, I'm using cast iron. I have added bacon grease. If you're not Southern and you don't have bacon grease or lard or tallow on your counter, that's fine. You can use the oil of your choice. I would not use avocado or olive oil or even grapeseed oil personally. If you're going to use oil, I would maybe use vegetables so that it does not add an extra flavor to a sweet baking item. We're going to take 1/4 of a cup and we are going to scoop out 1/4 of a cup of our pancake mix on here. This is a nice big pan, so I'm going to get 3 pancakes on here. And once I have gotten my pancakes on here, this is where I'm going to add my chocolate chips. I'm using little minis. You can use bigger ones if you want. I also think this might be tasty if you threw in a couple, or not a couple, but a little bit of chopped pecan. I think that could also be tasty. Give it a little bit of texture if you like some texture in your food. And you just want to cook your pancakes until you see that they are making little bubbles and the edges have risen a little bit. Now, when I go to flip my pancakes, I realized that the outside of my pan had not gotten as hot as the inside of my pan because this is a very large pan. And I fixed that on the next ones. And you'll see on all three of the pancakes that the inside part, where the inside of the pancake was, is darker than the other. But that's okay. The next couple were all right. But watch this. I'm going to flip this pancake hardcore. Flip. He still was tasty, but I definitely flipped him. Here's what it looked like. These were fantastic. Hope you enjoy. Like and follow.